All right, folks. So we have three knives in scope today, and they are actually very special, especially this one. We probably talk about this one the most. But these are all knives that are a way for me to cope with the law in my country. And the law is that the blade length should be 40 millimeters or 1.5 inches, which is fucking ridiculous. I mean, it's that is, I don't know. Honestly, these size of knives are really better for self-defense than for cutting an apple. Like, well, let's be real, that's the truth. You know what I mean? You don't really need that much penetration to hurt someone, to open them up, to make them bleed so much that they can't really do anything to you anymore. They have to attend to themselves. And so let's start with chronologically the first one. It's this one. I have a full review of this knife on my channel. It is a really good one. It turned out really good. It was originally like this long and a straight back. I made it into this, I suppose, reverse tanto, and I wrapped it with paracord. The first wrapping was kind of a failure. This is the second one over it, and it is freaking awesome. I don't know how I achieved such great ergonomics, but it is mostly due to this ring that was originally really big. You could actually put your finger into it and more. But now that it is wrapped and nice and tight, sorry for the cut on my finger here, it is perfect. It is just, it gets in my hand, I can stab, and there's no risk for me going up to the blade at all. Same in the reverse grip, I can just wedge it in my palm, and boom, I'm ready to go. And it actually also helps a lot with the whole sheath construction because it was so easy to make this, since all I want is to just draw it like so, you know, no complications. The blade is within the handle itself, like three-dimensionally, so it's never gonna dull on the sheath. It's never going to stab the sheath or anything. I have a nice bottom on it. And the only thing that I wish I had done better is the hardware, because as you can see, it's just bolted on without any rivets or anything. The others are similar, but at least I used rivets for the retention part of them. So I was kind of not at that point of development in my skills yet with this one. Then I got this, and there's also a full review of the original of this knife. And it was like this big. It was really good as that, and the handles I liked very much, so I kept them. But they're not good enough. I just don't feel like removing them or wrapping it, or wrapping them or the over part of the handle, but I just kept it as is because this turned out to be the most lethal blade of them all. I slashed a thick piece of cardboard and got through 4 layers. That's insane. That's insane, dude. With this kind of knife, this has an even smaller blade than the restriction. Like way smaller. I'm talking like 5 millimeters smaller. This will be probably about 1.4 inches, somewhere around, maybe even less. So it's crazy good for that purpose, but I have not found it to be nice in other regards. It's not very short compared to the others. It's not very compact. It's not very light because the tang is pretty thick and probably not a lot of skeletonizing went under the scales. And the sheath, I didn't do the best job at it. Well, these are the spots for the Ulticlip, but the rivets are good. It's just that the shape overall isn't. Let me see. Yeah, I just got it out. It's not the best retention. It works, but I could have done a better job overall. Now, the sheath wouldn't be a deal breaker if the knife itself wasn't just, I don't know, something about it just tells me that it's not quite right, even though it is very lethal. If I just needed a purely self-defense option, I would go for this, though. So, that's that. And now this, the middle ground between those two, the perfect one, in my opinion, and I have really kind of outdone myself on this one. Let me just show you. This is, I do have a full review on the original. It is the Kizer Harpoon Mini in CPM 3V Halloween edition, and I have wrapped it so nicely. Now, it's not perfect. Certainly, this area right here, this transition, you cannot avoid it being asymmetrical, as you can see. Right here, it's not quite perfect. It's close, but, well, to me anyway. To some of you, this probably looks horrible. But the wrapping also kind of, as you can see here, it goes to thin right here, then to really thick. Because of that, there's a couple ribs sticking out right here that you might notice. But ergonomically, The issue that I had with it initially was that the blade is so close to the handle and there's no choil area or nothing, which actually gives you more usable blade length legally, because they would measure it definitely from right this spot, not from the edge, but from this spot. You know how the legal retorts are, that's how it is. But with this one, I have the full edge that would be also a part of the legal measurement. And at the same time, with this handle, I somehow did it in such a way that no matter how hard I stab with this tip and this grip, and the Gorilla Fist grip, I never ever get this thing even a millimeter away from my position of grip. I don't know how I did it. I have no idea. I expected it to be a complete failure in that regard. I didn't expect this to be used for stabbing, but I can now somehow. I don't know how I did that. The handle just, with this pulse, like it's supposed to just works. It does give you quite a bit of traction to this laminated paracord core. And the inside of it, as well as of this one originally, was just like baseball bat wrapping or tennis racket tape, grip tape basically. And I did that, and I really like this knife, but now they changed the laws to where they can also make an exception and just say, okay, even though this has a lower blade length, we will still classify it as a weapon, and you'll still be charged and potentially even go to jail for this. I mean, that's, what a freaking joke, right? I don't know. You guys watching in USA or other countries with more liberal views in this regard, congratulations. I mean, value your freedom. Talk about being restricted. I mean, damn. I don't think that such a strict law even exists in South Korea, because anything could be confiscated, and you could be, I mean, this caliper right here, I don't know if I could work with this. I don't know, And actually, speaking of caliper, let's get to the measurements. Let me zero it out. Let's measure all of them, all the important measurements. Blade length on the first one would be at, where are we at? 1.26 inches. That's about 35 millimeters, I believe. And this one, see, is a little longer, probably like 36 millimeters. More, 1.31 length is what I left. This one, I don't know why I'm measuring these, because you can't ever get a hold of them, but if you ever try to modify them, I don't know, maybe you are somehow from my country and you want to know, what would be the best way to go about it. This is the perfect length, and it has the most usable blade length, and it is 1.5 inches spot on right here, maybe a bit less. Well, no, 1.5 inches, and we're measuring from the bottom the way they would measure it legally, not the actual cutting edge itself. But cutting edge, as you can see, this one has the most, then goes actually this one, and the least cutting edge is with this one, as you can tell. But this one, again, like I mentioned, I would carry for a self-defense situation exclusively. If I just want something to slash, this cut 4 layers of cardboard without any issue. This one is like a general purpose one, but more of a tool. And this one is a good blend, really good blend, really universal, and the best steel, also the best heat treatment. I have tested it. I have good faith in this knife. Now, to the measurements of the blade stock, you probably know, 0.08 somehow, is it? Yeah, 0.0875, basically 0.9. This one is 0.1 exactly. Well, a bit more than 0.1, that's probably just the caliper. And this one is probably the thickest, right? Yeah, 0.12. This, like I said, is the heaviest, so I carry it the least, and it's the least pleasant to have. And it is also, let me just actually measure them overall, and let's see which one is the perfect one. Then we'll just summarize it in terms of length. This one is, let's see, 5.2. Yep, 5.3, let's say. Yeah, 5.3 inches. This one is, let's see, how much is that? 5 point, well, basically 5. And so the last one is, how long? 5.5, a bit, just a tiny bit less. 5.5 inches. So this is the longest, this is in between, this is the shortest, and this is very nice actually. The only thing is the sheath, I kind of need to make it fit perfectly. Let's finish this up. If you do try and modify Kizer Harpoon into something like this, whether you want it for utilitarian purposes, because this is a very neat knife, and I have to say, practically speaking, I would actually just prefer this over the Mini Harpoon because it has better ergonomics, it has better blade shape in my opinion, and it is also really comfortable to use, and the tip is stronger, much stronger. Considering that this is CPM3V, you can do a lot with this tip. If you do that, let me just warn you, and actually I also left the impact point right here because the tang was so sharp, I was like, well, that's going to serve well. I didn't even have to modify it. And it's an awesome skull crusher. I just wish there was a tiny bit more length to it because not a whole lot of clearance between my hand and it. If you do try this, keep in mind, if you have larger hands than average at whole, you're probably not going to like the grip. Probably go with a normal sized harpoon. I have just a tiny bit smaller than average sized hands, and I have just, well, basically the perfect amount of space. So if you have average hands, you might even have a bit of an issue. But these scales, I took them out to show you this is exactly how the tank looked. And look at this finger choil joke. I don't know what it's supposed to be, right? I mean, look at it. It's just, it doesn't fit, right? I know that this is not a hard-use knife, the Harpoon Mini, but let's get this straight. It's CPM3V, and it has so many things right. It does have like a decent enough stock thickness, considering the whole thing, the steel and such, that it would make a perfect hard-use knife. So why are you giving me these dainty scales that are not very thick? They're plastic, but that's, you know, they have different options. And they are not very hand-feeling at all. This is a finesse tool, I get that, but come on. They could have done much better. They're flat, you know. They're not very nice. And this beak right here, as you can see, is not very pleasant. Even just for wrapping purposes, I ground it down so that the cord and the tape underneath wouldn't get damaged over time. So as you can see here, I have it rounded off. And that actually gave me more length for my hand because I don't have these peaks right here and valleys. So these are the couple mods you could apply to your Kizer Mini Harpoon and CPM3 or any other steel. I would imagine you could do the same with the full-sized one. And if you live in a country that has restricted blade length, just take it in your own hands to make the knives fit. And it's a good thing that it was the blade shape that it is, because that made the sheath for it pretty damn simple to make. As you can see right here, a couple rivets, and it is never going to poke out because it's stopped. The steel is stopped right here by those two rivets. So that's all I wanted to say about these. I mean, I really liked the process of making these. I really enjoyed it, genuinely. It is in a way therapeutic. It is in a way very relaxing. Gets your mind off of things, and the result is pretty nice. Like, I like these knives. Visually, the wrapping even like is really, really pleasing to my eyes, and my hands even more. So this is just a reminder that you can do these things on your own. And my favorite, again, is this Kizer, definitely. I don't know if I'm going to be carrying it considering the laws, but actually somehow I have been able to pass through the cops. Maybe it is because I've started wearing the glasses right here. And nobody actually stops me in these. That's pretty hilarious. Like I kind of dox myself a little bit, but who cares? So that's that. I mean, I appreciate your guys' time. If you want to check out more content, check out my channel, subscribe, like I said, or all that stuff the YouTubers are supposed to say. I appreciate your time, and see you in the next one.